Usually I recap the last episode, but not knowing what to say about it, I thought I might instead say a few words about the creative process. I try to draw and paint for about 20 minutes almost every evening. It's a discipline. Now, I had been trying for several nights not very admirably to keep from myself what I must have already known, namely that I was running out of steam. The drawings, this was what I guess I was trying not to notice, were becoming somewhat less detailed. Discipline in this case meant simply completing the task while putting forth as little committed effort as I possibly could. This gradual degrading of quality culminated in drawing last night a still life, a bowl of apples which could accurately be described as a bunch of lazy circles in cheap pen. Task complete. Worse, as the pen itself was running out of not steam but ink, its own half-committed lines perfectly reflected the uncommitted insistence of my own paltry efforts. Of course, it was, as per usual, only a dollar store pen. Thinking about it, had I better organize this little talk, that pro tip would be appropriately filed under the artistic materials section, listed singularly as the cheapest pens money can buy. The next morning, unsatisfied with the drawing, what else could I be? I suppose I at least partially admitted the larger situation to myself, for with more than a little candor I labeled the drawing Lazy Still Life. Following this admission, I absent-mindedly traced over it, crudely, in dark pencil, HB, 2B, 4B, who knows? Add these two words to the list of materials. My half-hearted tracing constituted, while I sipped a second cappuccino, perhaps an improvement of a kind, and I continued to loosely scribble some shading over top. At this point, sitting in bed reviewing the effect, I became unaccountably angry. I realized that it might not be obvious to viewers of this work that they were, in fact, apples. Yet for reasons I still can't explain even to myself, instead of improving the drawing, or better yet, improving myself, that is, working on tone, line work, etc., I simply, expediently, wrote beside it in an insistent hand, apples, obviously. I then supplemented this text with some further criticism of my imagined detractors. What's wrong with you? Of course they're apples. Again, postponed honesty with myself crept in, and I eventually had to admit that none of these critiques of whoever I thought might be leafing with critical intent through my private notebook really constituted an improvement of the drawing itself. I would have to do something more drastic. Forced, as I felt myself to be, to take at least partial responsibility for the artistic situation, I added a stem. Not 2, nor 3, nor as many stems as there were apples. Just that one. This, I thought, after unnecessarily labeling it, ought to be an adequate pointer and clear indicator to anyone interested in the specific fruit type, without risking overexerting myself. Beyond what I've said here, if I still have to explain myself, all I can say is that I was still busy on the musical front. Yes, I'm working on a new song. It's not done, of course. Not this song. I wonder what my hero Leonard Cohen would say if he could see my drawing. An uncommon grace was upon you when you drew these sublime peaches. Not many are granted to. What? They're not peaches?